Let's talk Tron. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Kano Tryharding Modern. Today, we will be playing everyone's favorite mono green Tron.
Happy birthday!
Carrie and Lich, thank you. It's not my birthday, but there's a few that I can do that with, especially the original Innistrad block, but not anything earlier than that for sure. Mirrodin and Cold Snap are like my next two best ones in that era, but we're gonna play some modern green Tron, then we're gonna follow it up with Double Masters 2022. Kano fans want only one thing, and it's disgusting. Tron. Yeah, sometimes it can be. I just picked a random 5-0 list. I think it's worth testing out some of the merits of this list. It's a little bit different. I think Albo was the one that pointed out possibly the necessity of Dismember because of the prevalence of Magus of the Moon. I don't know. I really don't know what Torpor Orb is for, because any of the decks that I can think of that would possibly get hated on by Torpor Orb are decks that are going to run things like Force of Vigor or ways to remove it. But ideally, Albo was talking about possibly the necessity of Dismember, because Dismember is one of the only cards that Tron can actually play, cast under a Blood Moon, and kill Magus with. If Magus becomes more of a problem, I would not be surprised if we start playing green-red Tron like we used to. But Torpor Orbs against Titan and Obsidian Charmaw? I could see it against Elementals. I have not seen anyone in a legitimate top-tier strategy play Obsidian Charmaw. I've run into it a couple of times, but never against a deck you would know the name of. Better to make them have an answer than to just free roll you, possibly, yes. Other than that, this is more of a threat-dense list. That we are running Kozilek in the main, which is kind of interesting. We're running less of the consistency tools, and the previous list I was playing 4 Worm Coils, 4 O-Stones, things like that. Is there no coding in the side? Oh, okay. I was really concerned for a second, because I did play a Tron list without coding and wished it had coding. Yeah, so that's the main variation with this list, is the threat density of it. It's kind of top-end heavy for a Tron deck, but I'm not saying that can't be made to work. We are running 18 lands in this version. And sideboard tech, obviously the Torpor Orb is a little bit odd to see, but not it's not an impossible choice. It's not something that's bad to consider, it's just a little weird. We are running Nature's Claim alongside Force of Vigor. Nature's Claim generally does not see as much play in Tron as something like Wilt. Wilt is generally a little more preferred because we're taking out things like Chalice of the Void on one, or we're taking out, or we'll can cycle the Wilt away, but Claim can be good if you only have 1 green mana to take out a threat. No Yavimaya is a little weird. Yeah, sort of. Yavimaya, people were generally playing to play around Void Mirror and to power up Sundering Titan, so it's a pretty reasonable include, but you can't have too many tech lands, and you need a... Sorry, I heard Porter whining, and I wasn't sure what the deal was. You need room to play Yavimaya. Besiju is nice. Claim is also nice versus Burn, that is true. Claim gives you the option of claiming your own stuff in order to gain some life and delay Burn a little bit. It's also great versus Eidolon. It's a way to answer Eidolon anyway. It's not great versus Eidolon, because you'd still take the damage, but it gives you some alternative play patterns. This version is playing main deck Relics, so I don't remember if the last version was or not. And I think I've yammered enough about this. Let's go ahead and just run this through a constructed league and see what happens. Yeah, I went to the gym this morning and got there kind of late, so I'm drinking an extra cup of coffee today and maybe keeping myself awake. Hopefully we can play well today. Thank you, Tarek. I am excited to play through some Double Masters 2022. Oh, So, I have a story to tell related to Double Masters. I bought a box of Double Masters 2022, a collector's box, for $300 at my local card shop. And I opened up a etched textured foil of Ren and Six, which was worth $400. So I immediately sold it to the shop because I was like, I don't need it. I don't want it for anything. I don't want to hassle with trying to eBay it. I'll just sell it back to you. And they're like, well, we can give you basically another Double Masters box for it if you want to try and, you know, open something else up. And I was like, well, I came here to open a box, so I might as well. So I traded it for a new box. And in that box, I opened up a textured, etched foil Kozilek, which was also worth an absurd amount. And I traded that in. I got a third box from them. And I traded in like some minor other rares and stuff I didn't want to. And this hand is fine. We've got some cycling. We've got tutors for Tron. So this hand is a fine keep. So I opened a third box. And in the third box, I opened another textured foil Renin 6. Another one. And the guy behind the counter was just like, what is happening? Because there's supposed to be like one textured foil card a case, maybe, and you've opened 3 of them. And I was like, dude, you're the one handing me the boxes. How am I supposed to know what's in them? And I opened a total of 5 boxes of Double Masters collector boosters, and I spent like $340 to do that. I left with a foil Imperial Seal. Not the full art, the regular art Imperial Seal foil, which is the card that I was hoping to get. So I left with like $500 in cards after only spending $340 and opening 5 Double Masters Collector's Boosters. I was like, man, I wish I had been recording this. But I did it on a whim, a complete whim. Like, I wasn't trying to make content. There was no, I wasn't trying to contrive anything or make something look good. It just happened. And I was like, all right, I'm done buying Magic product for a while. We're good. It looks like we're against Hammer, which is not a great matchup for us. It's probably a Stoneforge Mystic. There it is. I have this entire box of just like, this is like relatively the bulk stuff from what I opened, right? So there's a 1,000-Year Storm, Full Art Surgical, Assassin's Trophy Full Art, Bloom Tender, Full Art Vidalcan Orrery. What is that? Elenda. Like, this is a foil Aether Vial. I've got a foil Chaos Warp. I opened 2 of these exact cards in foil.
Happy birthday!
I had an Oracle of Moldiah foil. Like, I have a foil Teferi's Protection. I have a stack of really sweet cards. And it literally is this entire box. Because of all of those boxes I opened. It's just nuts. Yeah, that's the bulk. So, like, I'm totally done opening Magic product for a while. All right, we're going to play a Power Plant and pass. Unfortunately, we're getting Cauldron. That is the bulk. That's the leftovers. The etched foil Liliana of... what was it? Liliana the Last Hope. I have an etched foil Liliana the Last Hope, which is like a $50 card. I put that in my EDH deck. I put the Imperial Seal in my EDH deck. I had another black, like, variant that was rare, a black card that was rare, and I don't remember what it was, and I put it in that deck. But, like, the value... Oh, I opened 2 Force of Negations. I still have them. I have a full art foil Force of Negation, and I have a regular foil Force of Negation that I got out of that entire... And that I was able to keep that. Like, the other cards I sold made up the rest of that value. It was nuts. Long story short, don't gamble. Because that's not going to happen to anybody. Ever. We did the math, because it's supposed to be, like... You have, like, a 3% chance opening a box or something like that to get a etched textured foil card. And I opened 3 of them right in a row, which is, like, 2,700 thousandths or something like that. It's this insane, like, never going to happen statistic. And yet it happened. So we take 5. We go to 15, untap. We draw an Urza's Mine, and I guess we just start cycling stars, because we're going to need to get something. Karn Liberated is going to be good next turn. I can Sylvan Scrying here. We got a Kozilek that's also going to be interesting. Another Urza's mine. I'm gonna go get another tower, I guess. Yeah, let's get another tower. I could get a blast zone here, but I don't think it's necessary. No, O-Stone's not gonna help because of Cauldra. I can play it and crack it next turn if it's necessary. Like if my opponent's gonna put a bunch of stuff on board. Like if this was like a Batter Skull or just a hammer, then yeah, absolutely. But opponent plays an Ink Moth Nexus. That's probably not good for my health. Pure Steel. If they have a hammer, we're dead. Yeah, Kozilek does race pretty quickly if we're not just dead. Memnite. And we're dead. So because we didn't have that Karn immediately as we had Tron, we lost. Because they can just suit up the Cauldra with the hammer and we're dead. Which is very unfortunate, but... Alright, you got us. Nature's Claim, Force of Vigor, and Dismember in. And we are going to cut Relics. Probably Kozilek and Ugin, because Ugin is not very good. And Ugin the Ineffable is also quite terrible here. I would rather have 8 mana Ugin, because 8 mana Ugin can like exile the enchantments for really cheap, or also like give us a little bit of like lightning bolt reach. But I actually do not mind Ulamog so much when I feel like the other cards I cut are less impactful, even if they're more easily castable. Meta MTG, fun, fair, and balanced. Yeah, I guess. We have Dismember, we have Expedition Map, and we have an Ancient Stirrings. I mean, I have Blast Zone, too. This hand isn't bad. It can definitely be better. Let me think about the odds of having a better 6 really quick. Yeah, we're gonna mulligan to 6. Well, I have a Force, but I have no green cards to pitch to it, and I have no redraws. Yeah, Dismember did make that hand a lot better. But the odds of us having, like, Tron, Threat, and Removal was higher with a mulligan there. I think I'm fine going to 5. Okay, we're going to 4. Never mind. Well, we've got Force, we've got Sylvan Scryings and Ancient Stirrings and all that. So we'll keep the Force. I mean, if they start Saga into Paradise, or Saga into Paradise Mantle, or Saga into Springleaf Drum, and just bam, get them. But okay. Alright, Chromatic Star is an upgrade past the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Marsh Flats. Now we do really need that second land. Opponent shocks a Hollowed Fountain, plays a Memnite, plays another Springleaf Drum, and plays a Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Let's see what they get here. They do go and get Cauldra. Alright, we untap. Draw Wormcoil Engine. Sack Star for green. Draw Ulamog. Ancient Stirrings. We'll take a tower. Rest of the bottom, play it. And we just need to draw a power plant. If we had drawn a Tron land there, we would have cast Sylvan Scrying to get the third Tron land, but unfortunately we are not that lucky today. Okay, opponent plays a Saga, sure. I can't stop Cauldra, there's nothing I can do. But if they animate Inkmoth, we could kill the Inkmoth and the Saga, which could make a difference. If I draw a Forest, would I play Scrying? That's actually a really good question. I'm not sure. I'm not going to fire off Force unless I have an insane value play, or I need it to keep myself alive. So I probably would, but I think the correct choice, as long as I only have one green card in hand, if I can't immediately assemble Tron and cast a threat, is to just hold up Force. Because it might keep me alive. It was pretty punishing having to mulligan to 4. I'm not sure that my initial hand would have been too much better, but it definitely would have been better. Okay, we draw an Expedition Map. That does get us to Tron, just slowly. We'll die when Saga gets to 3. If they have a way to attach the equipment. course, they could just start making Saga tokens, so maybe I was supposed to blow it up in response, but I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, Opponent plays a Seachrome Coast. And another Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, we'll kill the Reality Chip, especially if they... Oh, I don't think they can equip it this turn. So they're leaving up, I think, the Saga token creation. Okay. They hit us for 5, we go to 9. My best draw here might be just Natural Power Plant if they're going for the token creation. Because we need to be able to play, like, Wormcoil and then leave up Force, but... That's a mine, not a power plant, unfortunately. Well... there's no sense in getting Besiege. Blast Zone we're way off of anyway. We'd only kill the Springleaf Drums, so... We'll get a power plant and play it and pass. If we draw a tower, if Force of Vigor is enough to keep us alive this turn, and we draw a tower to cast Ulamog, we might be able to stay alive. Okay, opponent makes a Saga token. Opponent floats mana from Urza's Saga. They get a Pithing Needle, probably naming Karn Great Creator. Okay. We could draw Oblivion Stone. Oblivion Stone would be an out. Okay, they cast the Reality Chip. Okay, opponent goes to combat and attacks. Oh, O-Stone doesn't kill Kaldra. Yeah, that's right. So we're going to 1. They play a Sigarda's Aid. I don't think I have an out. But I can try and cycle and see what I hit. Karn Liberated, unfortunately, doesn't do enough. I can take out the Germ token, but then I just die. Yep. Unfortunate, but Hammer is a really bad matchup for us. Like, we basically have to have a very fast hand into, like, with Force backup, and we just didn't. Why not Wormcoil? Because they just attack, and Kaldra has First Strike, and it exiles when it deals combat damage, so we wouldn't even gain life. So, like, we would absorb the Kaldra hit, and then die to the 3 damage that's swinging around with Kaldra. Alright, on to round 2. Well, we've got Tron into Karn, so... we can keep. If you block the other creatures, you don't die. If I block the other creatures, I die to First Strike damage. Okay, opponent leads on Arid Mesa. We play Power Plant and Expedition Map. We draw a 3rd Karn, so Karn Tron achieved. Pass the turn. If they only attack with Kaldra, it would have given me another turn. That's true, but there was still no single draw that was going to get me out of that. Opponent fetches up a Xander's Lounge off Arid Mesa. So this is probably Indomitable Creativity in the, like, Archon? Unless this is Shadow, but... ah, yes. Good old-fashioned Persist Archon. Opponent Thought Seizes themselves, playing Dwarven Mine. So they have another Thought Seize, it looks like. Okay, play Tower. Pass the turn. Hey, Hyper Voice, how's it going? So if opponent just, like, Windmill Slams Persist Archon here, we're just gonna beat them. Nice. Alright, let's discard the Sylvan Scrying. Yes, Thought Seize says target player reveals their hand. Okay, they're going with another Scalding Tarn. This'll be fun. Blood Crypt into Thought Seize. Seeing triple answer to Archon. I mean, if they have Force of Negation is the card they just drew, we're in trouble, but it's amazing. Oh my gosh, they sent me a message. They said, oof. I would have led on the Thought Seize if I was them, but it's amazing what I can learn from reading the cards. You know, I say that every time I don't read cards, and then refuse to read still. Okay, let's go get Urza's Mine. Okay, we draw Chromatic Star, play Karn, say goodbye Archon, and pass the turn. I can't believe I got this call right saying it was Indomitable Creativity Archon. Okay. Opponent plays a Dwarven Mine. Gets a 1/1. Indomitable Creativity Archon. So we sack Karn, lose Chromatic Star, untap, draw Power Plant, play Power Plant, play Karn, exile Archon, pass the turn. So now my opponent cannot Chandra Flashback Persist. Yeah, they will not be able to Flashback Persist because Archon gets exiled. The triple Karn, when your opponent can cast it, is generally pretty good. Oh. Hey, Orch. How's it going? I mean, unless they have a third Archon, I will be casting an Ulamog. Hey, MC Todd. How's it going? Oh, you're a cat hostage at the moment? That was me the other day. When I went up to my brother's to go to the Ren Fair, I stayed over the night before, and I woke up with a very tiny ginger cat sleeping on me. His name is Cheeto. Well, they Thoughtseize me to take away my Ulamog. I guess that was a pretty reasonable line for them to take in those circumstances. Never fourth Karn. Opponent plays a Dwarven Mine. We know Expressive Iteration is one of the 2 cards in their hand. Okay, we draw Karn, Great Creator. So, uptick Karn on our opponent. I don't think I actually have a pick of Cheeto right now, or I would show you. He's just a tiny little ginger cat. We took Fatal Push from them, so Expressive Iteration is their last card. I guess this is what the Torpor Orb is for. I can't quite get Sundering Titan. Yeah, let's just get Torpor Orb. They can kill Karn, Great Creator. Ballista is better. Yeah, actually, Ballista is better. So we can actually ping down Chandra, leave Ballista on 1. And this is okay simply because we know their last card in hand and we just took Fatal Push from them. So if they Creativity, we just kill their creature. If they somehow persist in Archon, we can just sack Ballista. This works. And we're going to untap and get Sundering Titan, blow up 3 of their lands, and then Karn another land, and then what are they going to do? Okay. Opponent casts Expressive Iteration. Creativity is just polymorph, but it can also target artifacts. And it always polymorphs into creatures. You can also hit multiple artifacts or creatures, so like opponent could put multiple Archons into play if they hit multiple 1/1s. Alright, opponent scoops. Nice. Okay, I do want Dismember. I do want the Relics because my opponent is using their graveyard. I don't know exactly what cards they play, so I'm going to look up a generic list. Because I want to know if they play, like, Blood Moons. They do play Alpine Moon, and they play Ashiok, which is kind of interesting. In that case, I'm going to bring in the Nature's Claims, and I'm going to cut, I think, Kozilek. Warping Whales can counter Indomitable Creativities and Persists. I'll put a Wormcoil Engine in the Wishboard. Ugin's technically an answer for another Archon. I guess Warping Whale is my worst card, so we'll try like this. You're going to play Avarice Totem as your Wishboard card? That's kind of funny. I don't know if it's good, but it's funny. I'm glad we have the same opinion, Hypervoice. Yeah, that's true. They can't steal it back with Baby Karn out. Alright, this is a mulligan. This is about the same. We can go to 5. Mine, Power Plant, Threats. So we're going to keep... I'm going to put back Karn and a Besieju, and we're going to hope to draw Tower, or Sphere Stars into Tower, or Sphere Stars into Tutor for Tower. Alright, we lead on Urza's Mine. Pass the turn. 6 mana steal a card isn't great, though. No, it is funny. Besieju was my only way to cast green cards. Yeah, I probably could have put back one of my threats. Maybe I was being optimistic. I was a little bit worried about, like, multiple Thoughtseizes, but I guess I was kind of playing a little scared if I had 3 threats at the time I was going to be able to cast. Potentially. So. Alright. Playing a power plant, pass the turn. Funny always wins over good. Is that the second access to good evil? You have good evil, funny unfunny? Is that the 2 dimensions of deck construction? Alright, opponent untaps. Casts Tainted Indulgence. They're going to discard probably an Archon. If they're main phasing it, they're looking for land, I think. They did discard an Archon. Alright. Unfortunately, Wormcoil's not that great. Opponent untaps. Not keeping Besiege You is hurting. Yeah, a little bit. Hindsight's 2020. I hate that expression so much. I hate that expression because 2020 vision isn't even the best vision you can have. We're getting thought seized. Don't like that year? Alright, there goes Sylvan Scrying. Alright, show me Urza's Tower. Survey says... Karn. Pass the turn. To make it up just by drawing the tower naturally. At this rate, maybe. Opponent's not really doing anything. Although they're going to have the ability to get a Dwarven Mind token and creativity here. Another Tainted Indulgence. It's better vision than what I got. That's fair. Opponent discards Hard Evidence. Cracks Wooded Foothills. Gets a Dwarven Mine. Makes a Dwarf. They play a Scalding Tarn. Crack Scalding Tarn. Get a Dwarven Mine. Make another Dwarf. And they're going to Creativity into double Archon. Or Archon Sphinx of the Final Word. We'll drop Wormcoil. We untap. We draw the tower. Play Karn. Exile Archon. Pass the turn. We're doing Tron things today. Why is the YouTube videos not popping out? I have been forgetting to run my automated video editing script. I have like 30 videos in the backlog. I'm not even joking. All of them are like pre-recorded vintage cubes and a couple of double masters ones. And I keep saying to myself, I need to record a Tron video to put out because it's like one constructed video and one limited video per week is generally what people want to watch. And if I don't upload the constructed video, then it's like, well, I can't just put up limited again. They're not going to like that. But then that's also like, you should upload videos so people have stuff to watch. It's just me being dumb. That's the answer. You'll see them all eventually. I'll upload them. Maybe I'll do like an apology week and just do a week of 7 videos. Call that Caught Back Up and... Oh, there's Archon again. We lose Karn Liberated, we discard Ugin. Sphinx of the Final Word is a 7-mana 5/5 flying hexproof that can't be countered with instants and sorceries you control can't be countered. He's basically 5/5 and annoying. Presumably this was brought in out of fear of Warping Whale, but... Sounds like a blue card? Yes. We drew all 4 Karns this time. Nuke Archon. Skills. The worst part is I'm probably still going to lose here. So the problem with daily videos, I did that for years. Like a year and a half. Greater than 1 year. That is too much recording. I actually enjoyed it, but it was killing me. I might be able to do it now that I'm medicated, but I'm going to have to wait to try that until after I move into my new house, which I'm still in the process of buying. Close in 11 days, so that's fun. But, alright, there's a Chandra. That's actually a problem, because my opponent can make a bunch of tokens and keep attacking. Thank you. All of my stuff is still packed up from when I moved from Utah, so I literally just have to throw it into a truck and then drive up there. Opponent attacks us for 6. If they have a lightning bolt, we lose. Opponent is going to flashback creativity. Oh, can they actually cast it? Yes, they can be. Okay, I see how I'm gonna die. I didn't realize. I thought that was... I guess it makes sense that it's not cast without paying its mana cost, but... We die to Archon. Alright. I guess I'll bring in the Torpor Orb over If they have multiple threats, Ugin the Spirit Dragon's actually kind of reasonable. I'll take out Ugin the Ineffable. You don't want Warping Whale. Torpor Orb should probably stay in the side, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll keep Torpor Orb in the side and just bring Warping Whale back in. Would we lose round 1 to? Hammer. Alright, we've got Mine, Power Plant, and Scrying, along with Sanctum of Ugin and O-Stone. This seems like a pretty good keep of 7. Thoughtseize does make this hand significantly worse, but we've got a redraw, so it's not terrible. So, lead on Mine, play Sphere. Opponent untaps. Torpor Orb should stay in the binder. Oh, man. The last time I saw anybody seriously running Torpor Orb, it was for, like, Copycat combo, which was a while ago. There's the Thoughtseize. So opponent should take Sylvan Scrying here. They do. We untap. We draw Ancient Stirrings, so stack Sphere for green. Play Sphere. Play Power Plant. Sack Sphere for green. We draw Tower. Ancient Stirrings. Take Warping Whale. Rest of the bottom. Pass the turn. You're really tired of doing a league and facing 5 Stoneforge Mystic decks? I mean, so, like, the Stoneforge Mystic package is so, like, card minimal. Like, you can just play 4 Stoneforge Mystics in a slower deck, and then play, like, a Kaldra and a Batterskull. And for 6 cards, you've got a very powerful engine. Alright, opponent plays a Spreading Seas. We untap and draw another Urza's Mine. Play a Tower, pass the turn. We're going to leave up Warping Whale, and next turn we're going to get him with the Mine into Ugin. Thassa's Oracle combo that mimics Adnaz. That's not too bad of an idea. It's just, I think a lot of it... Like, the problem that I have with Torpor Orb is that all of the decks that want to combo off, that can, like, are theoretically hampered by Torpor Orb, spend 0 resources answering Torpor. O-Stones destroy Seas, and next turn I have to leave up Warping Whale. Not necessarily. It depends on what happens this turn. Like, I would counter this. Because if they were trying to hit a land there and don't... Okay. Perfect. So now we can play Urza's Mine. Play Karn. It does, but it depends on the order in which they're played. So it's called a timestamp. Yeah, I guess we'll get Torpor Orb. Play Torpor Orb. And pass the turn. So, like, if this card was Spreading Seized, and my opponent played a Blood Moon, this would now be a mountain and not an island. If my opponent played Blood Moon, and then Spreading Seized my Urza's Mine, it would be an island and not a mountain. But my other cards would be mountains, of course. So yeah, if my opponent was banking on a Archon play this turn to answer Karn Great Creator, we're going to Sundering Titan, and they're going to be sad. Okay, opponent casts Tainted Indulgence. Oh, Sundering Titan doesn't work. Sundering Titan doesn't work because of Torpor Orb. Why am I playing Torpor Orb? What happens if you change the color? Same thing. If it is worded the same way. Because there's stuff that say it becomes a, you know... It's like Nim Deathmantle changes its color to black, but then there's other cards that give it a new color in addition to its other colors. Ballista does actually work through Torpor Orb. Have to exile my Sundering Titan. I mean, or I can just play this Karn Liberated and make them sad that way, probably. I am going to sack Sanctum here. Yes, exactly, Judd. How's it going, man? Good to see you. And we got there. Sundering Titan doesn't work because of Torpor Orb. Otherwise, we would have completely Armageddoned them. Alright, so we're 1-1 going into round 3.
Lady.
Oh, man. Hope y'all are having a
Happy birthday!
good Sunday. James, it's not my birthday, but thank you. Derek. We don't need that. Oh, man. I cannot be this tired. I just drank an extra coffee. That is a very concerning mental image. The Tsundere Titan. Okay. We can definitely do better on a 6 than this 7, so this is going to be a mulligan. We can definitely do better on a 5 than these 6, so we're going to mulligan. And we're going to keep. We're going to put back Ugin and Wormcoil. Oh my gosh, what the heck are we talking about now? Am I against the same guy? No, but it looks like it's the same deck. Okay. Play Power Plant, play Star, pass the turn. Keeping a 1-lander? More like keeping a somewhat keepable 5. It is the same deck. Okay, we draw an Ugin. Come on, Mine or Tower. Mine. Sylvan Scrying. We get a tower. Tron achieved. That's not really that lucky. We have a lot of good top decks. Opponent fetches up a Blood Crypt. Then passes. We draw a Forest. Play a Tower. Play a Karn. Wish. We get Torpor Orb. Play Torpor Orb. This could get, like, countered. Okay. And Chromatic Star. Pass the turn. Opponent is casting a 3-mana card on our end step. It's like Brazen Borrower. Prismari Command. Okay, they go looting, and they're going to destroy our Torpor Orb. They loot away an Archon. They kill Torpor Orb. Play a Dwarven Mine. Gets played 66% of games so far. Yeah, exactly. They do hit an Archon, which makes us sack our Karn. Unfortunate. We discard Chromatic Sphere. So if I want a -7 Ugin, I can kill Archon. Otherwise, Ugin's going to die anyway. We're going to start by sacking Star for green. Because if we draw... Does that actually change anything? Does Karn change anything? I suppose I could play Ensnaring Bridge, but my opponent has already shown that they have answers in the form of Prismari Command. I'm trying to do some probabilities here. If we're doing... we could do... Well, they have one in the grave, so they could just easily have Persist. That's what I'm thinking about here. If we play Karn, we Sylvan Scrying for... I guess it would have to be another tower. We can play Karn, then play Bridge, hold Forest. If they play a second Archon, they can force us to sack Karn, then we can -7 Ugin and clear the board of 2 Archons, potentially. If they have a Prismari Command, we would be forced to sack Ugin anyway. But we would ditch the Forest. I think that's the safer line. So we're going to go Sylvan Scrying, get a tower, play the tower, play Karn, wish for Ensnaring, play the Bridge, pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. They hit Karn down to 2. They play a Wooded Foothills and Thoughtseize. Okay, there goes Ugin. I guess that was the danger. We untap. We draw a Chromatic Star. So lead on the Star. Cycle it for green. Draw Sylvan Scrying. I don't think that does anything. Sanctum into Titan. Yeah, I guess Sanctum into Titan is the line, actually. I don't know why I didn't think of that immediately. Okay, play Sundering Titan, sack Sanctum. We'll get Ulamog. Sundering Titan, gonna get rid of Swamp, Island, Mountain. Now if they use their Fable of the Mirror Breaker to clone Archon and make us sack, they're going to lose the rest of their lands. I should have updated the deck command, so if that is not an up-to-date list, please complain to me. Okay, opponent gets to loot away some cards. Sorry to hear that. I'm not... My bitrate seems to be okay. I don't appear to be dropping frames. There's no alarm bells ringing. Yeah, I was trying to set up for, like, if they copied Archon, we'd be okay. Hey, Jackad, how's it going? Awesome. Opponent is going to attack and make a treasure. I can just block. Okay. We untap. Draw Blast Zone. So I could, like, cast Ulamog, nuke Sundering Titan, get rid of all of their lands, and take out Fable? Then I could play Blast Zone? I actually think that might be the play. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I guess taking out Archon is safer. Yeah, we'll take out Archon. We have plenty of time. Play Blast Zone, pass the turn. Exiled Bridge Archon? Nah, that leaves him with too many options. We untap, we draw Urza's Mine. Play Urza's Mine, pass the turn. Now we can tick up Blast Zone to 3, which should kill their Reflection and our bridge. Why would I choose Titan? Because it's an enters the battlefield or leaves the battlefield trigger, so I effectively Armageddoned them because they had 3 lands. Let's tick Blast Zone up to 3. Okay, Warping Whale is nice. Let's go ahead and blow up all 3 drops. Go to combat. Exile half their deck. They go to 5. Yeah, Sundering Titan has a lot of text on it. I think the best Sundering Titan play that I've ever made involved... oh, shoot. I'm going to bring in the Nature's Claims and the Dismember again. We'll cut Kozilek, 6 mana Ugin, and a Wormcoil Engine. The best Sundering Titan play I've ever made, I actually was playing my Cabal Coffers deck. I Baleful Masteried to exile my own Sundering Titan, then wished for it and cast it again. and like, that was what was necessary to run them out of lands. So it was already on the battlefield. It was nuts. We can do better than this. This hand's not bad, but we're going to 6. We're going to 5. Was that game 1 or 2? That was game 1. Perfect. We're going to put back Nature's Claim and Sylvan Scrying. Okay. We draw another Urza's Mine. Play Relic. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. We're getting Thought Seized. We lose Dismember. They play a Mountain. And they're going to play Alpine Moon. Okay, they should name the Tron land that we don't have. They should name Tower. That does make things a little bit harder for us. And I put back a Nature's Claim, so this is going to be somewhat annoying. They do name Tower, which is correct. Go ahead and exile the card in the graveyard. They do only have 3 cards left in their hand. Okay, we draw another Power Plant. Well, we're going to need to draw a Tower. Or I guess a green source. Okay, opponent plays a Steam Vents. This is probably a Prismari command. We get an Expedition map. And another Urza's Mine. Play an Urza's Mine. Play the Expedition map. I can go get Blast Zone now, or Besiege, but I don't have a green source if I play out, unless I play out Besiege. So I'm probably just going to tutor for Tower here. Okay, opponent casts Tainted Indulgence. Yes, I do have green mana as long as they have Alpine Moon naming Tower. Okay, they ditch a Thoughtseize. Opponent plays an Arid Mesa, then casts a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Making a token. Crack map, get tower. Okay, we got a warping whale. That's actually pretty good. Cast Ancient Stirrings. Let's see. I'm actually gonna take... Do I want Expedition Map here? That was my first instinct, was map for Blast Zone. But, let me think about this for a minute. Opponent is pretty low on resources. I could take Karn Great Creator. Ulamog's kind of a ways off. You can't see the cards? Oh, my bad. I can't make them any bigger, unfortunately, but... let's see. Yeah, we're gonna take map. Rest to the bottom. Play map. Pass the turn. We'll leave up Warping Whale in case they do have an Indomitable creativity. Okay. Fable of the Mirror Breaker ticks up to 2. They ditch a Persist and a basic Swamp. They go to combat. They attack and make a treasure. Hey, Dry Bomber, how's it going? Put a Cracks Arid Mesa. Gets a Dwarven Mine. Now, it's looking like this is a creativity, hitting the Dwarf token and the Goblin Shaman. Or not. Crack Expedition Map. Besiege You is less mana. It gives them a land, but Blast Zone theoretically can answer multiple moons. So we'll take Blast Zone. He's still around, he's just busy on Sundays. We draw another tower. Play Blast Zone. Pass the turn. I'm probably going to start streaming Wednesday nights again. After I move, but it's going to be up in the air until I settle in and get things figured out exactly. Okay, opponent gets a Reflection of Kiki Jiki. Yeah, that's true. That was the trade-off there, James. We take 3. I don't know why... Oh, shoot. The correct pick was to not crack Blast Zone, because they named Blast Zone. But this leaves me with 1 more mana than I had. If I'd sacked Blast Zone, they would have just named Tower again. Another Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Oh, dude, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, we draw Big Karn. Oh, I only have 6 mana. I thought I had 7. Kano cannot count. Alright, pass the turn. We've still got Warping Whale. We sided in stuff. 2 Nature's Claims and a Dismember, I think. Okay, opponent ditches, I think, a Scalding Tarn and a Tainted Indulgence. Indomitable Creativity holding up 3 mana suspiciously. Well, we'll counter it. Opponent is going to hit us for a lot. 2, 4, 6. They do not attack with Reflection of Kiki Jiki. That's interesting. We go to 9. Untap. Wormcoil is helpful. Planners is mine. Wormcoil actually does help me stay alive, so I'm going to play Wormcoil. Karn upticking, hitting their last card in hand, I think is my other option, but they can make a token on my end step. I guess I'm in trouble if they do end up hitting Indomitable Creativity or if they have a Prismari command. For some reason, I thought the Reflections of Kiki-Jiki were legendary. They are not. Isn't it better to kill a token? Possibly. I think this is better, though. I'm not sure. Double Archon, and we're going to 3. Triple Archon, and we just die. Alright. Didn't really have a way to beat that. I probably do want Force of Vigor. Yes, it does. It does kill the Kiki-Jiki. I'm actually going to cut this Dismember. And I'm going to put an Oblivion Stone in the Wishboard. We'll try it like this. I would like to play first. This hand is not that great, but it is kind of resilient. I want a mulligan because we can do better. But this really isn't so bad. Like, we're worst against Thoughtseize, and if my opponent leads on Thoughtseize, as long as it's not like Thoughtseize immediately into Archon, we're probably okay. It's just not a fast Tron hand. Six Sigma resubscribing, thank you so much. Sigma says, can't stay for long, gotta go back to my cage. Thanks for letting me out of my basement today, Kano. I do not have Sigma held hostage. Alright, we'll keep. My instinct is to mulligan, but we'll keep. Opponent does mulligan to 6. Lead on Power Plant, play map, pass the turn. Opponent casts Hard Evidence, we untap. We draw a Chromatic Sphere. Play a Forest. Play Sphere. Sack Sphere for green. Ancient Stirring. We'll get a Tower. Rest of the bottom. Pass the turn. Next turn we have Nature's Claim plus Tutor for Mine. Opponent plays a tap land. We untap. Play a Tower. Oh no, Sigma. You can't be saying things like that. It makes it sound like I'm forcing you to say things like that. And I'm not. Opponent plays a Blood Crypt untapped. And a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So they make a Goblin token. They can't attack. So let's sack map and get Urza's Mine. And I'm going to Nature's Claim Fable. We untap. We draw another tower. Play Mine, Tron Assembled. Play Karn. And then could just get Ratchet Bomb and blow up all their tokens. That's probably the most reasonable thing to do here. Let's go with Ratchet Bomb. I don't normally run Ratchet Bomb in my Wishboard. Usually I play Engineered Explosives. But in this particular situation, they're the same. Alright, pass the turn. Next turn, we can just follow up with Sundering Titan, hopefully. Sigma, if you're just in distress, signal us somehow. I can clip it and send it to the cops. How is that not a single signal, Tarek? Oh, that's hilarious. Alright, we're losing our Karn. That's unfortunate. We are discarding a forest here. We untap and draw a Relic. So we're going to cycle this Relic. Try and draw a threat. We draw Karn, Great Creator again. So play Tower. Play Karn. Wish for Ensnaring Bridge. And play Bridge. Pass the turn. Later, Sigma. Thanks for tuning in. It was good to see you. Opponent, Tainted Indulgence. Putting an Archon in the grave. They then persist an Archon, killing our Karn, forcing us to ditch a forest. And play a Bloodstained Mire. We untap. We draw a Relic. Play Relic. Sack it immediately. Get a power plant. Play power plant. Pass the turn. Opponent immediately passes turn. Or casts Tainted Indulgence on their second main phase. It wouldn't be till after the 28th. The 28th is my closing day. I'm going to have to move around that time, and then we'll see what the schedule looks like. Well, we draw a force. I think using this claim is... Well, it prevents them from drawing cards. And it also keeps us out of the Goblin Shaman's attack range. So I'm going to actually claim sorcery speed here. Alright, opponent plays another Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And an Arid Mesa. We untap. We draw another force. Alright, pass the turn. They go to their main phase. They ditch a bunch of cards. Archon and Inquisition. They go to combat. We are going to force the Fable here. If they have Alpine Moon, we are now out of enchantment removal. Yes, I know. If they draw an answer to bridge, we are dead. Okay, Ancient Stirrings. How is that still not helpful? We'll take a star. Rest of the bottom. Play star. So I did move to the Wisconsin area. I'm in the process of buying a house, and then we'll be moving into said house. Hopefully on the 28th, which is my closing date. Like, hopefully, like, the day, that weekend, I'll be able to move in. And that's pretty exciting. Why didn't I crack map? Because I didn't want a card in my hand. I actually should... No, this is fine. This is fine. Even if I hit a land off the top of my deck, this should be alright. We'll get Sanctum. Okay, we draw Besiege You. Play Sanctum. Pass the turn. If he ends up in that new basement. Blast Zone on 7. Maybe that was reasonable. Am I a Packers fan? My brother is a vicious Packers fan. I'm kind of indifferent. Although I do enjoy football because I like the strategy of it, and I played it once upon a time in high school. I generally just cheer for who my friends and family cheer for. So my brother is a Packers fan who married a Bears fan, so you can imagine how that goes. My father is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan because he knew somebody that actually played on the team. But that's kind of an oddball around here because people are like, why are you a Tampa fan? And, like, he was a Tampa fan for, like, 40 years. So, like, it's not like, oh, it's because they were good in a recent season or something. It's like, no, he knew someone that played for him. Yeah, Blast Zone would have had to have been on 8. That's true if I'd have gotten it. They are going to Creativity my bridge. That is an answer. And unfortunately, hitting a Chromatic Sphere is not good for my health. Yeah, that doesn't help. Alright, that's a round loss. So we're on to round 4. 1 plus 7... yeah, you'd have to use 14 mana to tick it up by 7. It has to be sacked with 8 counters. Practically right down the road from the Australian. What's funny is Utah is a lot closer to you than Wisconsin is. No, there was no Sundering Titan in the main deck. Unless you were talking about, like, hitting a Ulamog or something like that. But Ulamog and Kozilek do not have Enter the Battlefield triggers. They would have just died to Archon triggers anyway. I think even if we'd hit an Ulama, or if we'd hit a Wormcoil Engine, we still wouldn't have been able to block, so. Alright, round 4, here we go. We're on the draw for round 4, most likely. Quest for a chest, no kidding. Yeah, we got 2/3 of Tron, a redraw, and a threat, so this is a keep. Our opponent's playing Gigantha. So opponent leads on an Arid Mesa. Sacred Foundry. Does it burn? This is Magecraft, which is probably meaning that we're dead. Because Magecraft is hyper fast. It's like prowess on steroids. So we're going to lead on Chromatic Sphere, but odds are we're going to be dead before we can even cast a threat. Because my opponent's just going to go like land, Manamorphose, Ground Rift, Assault Strobe, and we're going to die. Okay, opponent plays a Dreadhorde Arcanist. We're not dead yet. Mutagenic Growth, not looking good for my health. They hit me for 4. We draw Karn, the Great Creator. We cycle Sphere for green, play Power Plant, pass the turn. Like, even if I draw Tower, I might just be dead. That's what we're looking at right now. Okay, opponent cracks Wooded Foothills. Gets another Stomping Ground. 3 lands, they're flooding. Yeah, they only play like 12. Become Immense. Making a 7/9 Dreadhorde Arcanist that can flash back and become immense. I knew I was gonna die, I just didn't think it'd be that silly. Oh, if Arcanist had haste, that card would be broken. Arcanist is already a busted card if you don't answer it immediately. I will be playing Dismember. I have no idea what Magecraft actually runs. Clever Luminmancer. Clever Luminmancer, hang on. Modern Prowess. They play like Silence Shatter Spree is what we have to worry about, and we have nothing that can deal with either of those cards. Magecraft was really popular right after Strixhaven came out. But people realized it was like way too all-in. It's just the evolution of Kiln Fiend combo. Yeah, generally they're Naya, and the reason that they play green is for Become Immense, basically. Sometimes they play Veil of Summer and associated effects to protect their guys, but I guess I could and should bring in Chalice of the Void, and like maybe Nature's Claim for my own stuff. I will cut an Ugin and a Kozilek. And an Ulamog. Let's try it like this. Today might not be a good day to Tron. I don't know. I would like to play first. We're in the loser's bracket, anything can happen. That's kind of true. This is a mulligan. Like, Warping Whale is fine, but we can do better. This has Dismember and Relic. Relic just being a recycle. I'm going to go to 5. Okay, we got 2/3 of Tron and Chromatic Sphere. I have no idea if that's going to be good enough, but we'll try it. Kano's birthday is always a great day to Tron. I disagree, and it's not my birthday. We're going to ditch Blast Zone and Oblivion Stone. Lead on Urza's Mine, Chromatic Sphere. Now, my opponent did mulligan to 6. Okay, they lead on Wooded Foothills. Into Monastery Swiftspear. So this will be significantly slower, but still fast. We draw Chalice. Cycle for green, see what we draw. I'm going to Ancient Stirrings to try and hit Tower. There's Tower. Rest of the bottom, play Tower. Do they play any zero-cost cards? That's the question. They do not. They have cards that don't technically cost mana, but they have... they still have a mana cost. We had the option of potentially casting Chalice on one there, but if I stranded that Ancient Stirrings in hand without top-decking the tower, you know we were never going to get there. Like, maybe it's better. It probably is this turn actually better than playing Karn, but they do play Shatter Spree to get around it. Okay, opponent has an Illuminator Virtuoso. We'll play a Power Plant. And a Chalice. You think Karn is better here? I could still die to Prowess Triggers here. It's significantly harder, but the reason that I'm doing this is because I want to sack Sanctum to casting Karn here. Memnite would go hard in the Wishboard. You know, when we were playing Coffer's Control, we would actually wish for Dross Golem. Because Dross Golem was just a creature that could block for Karn for 0 mana. And a 3 mana, or like a 0 mana 3/2 Fear is actually decent in a control matchup. It's kind of funny. Okay, opponent leads on Manamorphose. They throw Mutagenic Growth into the Chalice, but it causes Illuminator Virtuoso to connive. Yeah, this is looking like we're gonna die. Hey, Dick Record. Oh, I didn't even realize that you started talking, Dick Record. Cause all the names on my screen are red right now. I mistook you for somebody else when you started talking. How was the charity stream, man? I'm sorry I couldn't tune in. I'd completely forgotten by the time it rolled around. I was also out in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, attending a Renaissance fair. We get hit for a bunch of damage. You don't have to do Eldon squats. I'm sorry to hear that you didn't hit your tallest goal, but I'm glad the stream went well. Alright, we untap, we draw Sylvan Scrying, we'll play Sanctum, we'll cast a Karn, and sack Sanctum. Ren Fair was good. Oh, I have this leftover temporary tattoo on. Just like I haven't washed it off yet, because it's actually sticking pretty good. I had a guy ask me today if this was real. A guy who had tattoos himself, he was like, man, the line work looks incredible. And I was like, thanks, man. It's fake. So, we'll sack Sanctum and get Wormcoil. Land a Karn and take out Illuminator Virtuoso. Pass the turn. You put it up that way because you're preparing to fail. I guess I can't blame you. You know, this is just like a temporary tattoo that my brother got off of Amazon, and you just like put the film down and wipe it with a wet rag or hold it there for a few minutes or something like that, and it sticks. But people thought it was real. I put one on my chest, and that was a mistake, because the amount of hair I had to remove taking it off sucked. I think you're just supposed to use like alcohol or baby oil or something to get rid of it, but I was trying to scrub it with water, and this one I was like, I don't care. We'll play Wormcoil Engine, pass the turn. Gotta wax first. Oh gosh, that's never happening. Next turn, oh yeah, I could have Sylvan Scryinged for Blast Zone to take out their guys. Wormboy's gonna get nuked by what? Path? Oh man, they have Ancestral Anger. I guess they could also Ground Rift it. They actually have a lot of ways to get around the Worm. They don't have a lot of ways to answer it, but... Oh, Ancient Grudge? Yeah, that's true. They can Ancient Grudge. Do they have a way to give Trample at instant speed? I don't think so. I like how this deck is practically a budget deck. It's like 130 tickets, and I see a list that's 80 tickets. Teamer Battle Rage? Oh, that's a possibility, I suppose. I completely forgot that card existed. Once again, chat has proven me to not have that great of a memory right now. Well, we'll block the Lumimancer. It's getting grudged. I can't say I enjoy this art all that much, but I understand it. So Crash Through? Crash Through is a sorcery. Okay, we take a bunch of damage. Opponent plays an Illuminator Virtuoso, and we untap. We draw a Relic. So let's start by cycling Relic. See what we hit. Ulamog. Not quite enough mana to cast him, though. Karn Plussing is actually, I think, what I'm going to do here. It's unlikely they draw anything better than what they have in their hand. Midnight Hunt? Okay, so the mutagenic growth to connive to make their guy bigger. Oh, I don't know that one. I know Ancestral Anger that gives +X+O, but it's a sorcery and it draws a card. I'm gonna go get Blast Zone, because it's not like I can hold up Besiege You or anything. Okay, pass the turn, leave a bunch of blockers. Opponent draws a card. They play Dreadhorde Arcanist. We draw an Urza's Tower. I don't remember... Target creature gets +X+O and first strike and trample. I don't remember the... I don't remember the bot signature either. So play Blast Zone. Uptick on them. Karn ulting actually puts them in a better place to win than it does us. Unless I exiled Ulamog out of my hand here, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I guess I should have at least taken out a land. I don't know why, but I'm really tired right now. So take out their 2 mana threats, then pass the turn. There are a lot of commands. Ancient Grudge. Opponent is now attacking us. We're going to block the Lumimancer, of course. They're attacking Karn. I guess they don't want me to ult him? Okay, they gave up finally. Alright. Run it back. No further adjustments. Alright, will I turn on the song request one day? Probably not. Sketchily hiding his Discord screen there. I just don't know what's up when it's open. I don't know if it's like a private conversation. I don't want to like just blast it to the whole world because I left it on the wrong monitor. That's a mulligan. Alright, Mine Tower Power Plant, Worm Coil, and Karn. Let's go. Opponent starts Swift Spear. Hits us for 1, we go to 19. We untap, draw a star, play a mine, play a star. Opponent untaps, is now doing math. They play a second Swift Spear. He said math is for blockers? I know, right? They hit us for 2, we go down to 17. It appears they only have 1 land. We draw Karn Liberated. Cycle Star for green. I guess Warping Whale would be like our best draw here. We draw Sanctum, play Star, play Power Plant, cycle for green. Ancient Stirrings. I'll take an Oblivion Stone, rest to the bottom, pass the turn. I don't know why the dogs are going nuts. Porter! Porter! Here, buddy. Scale up. We're taking 9? Well, we're taking more than 9. We're taking 13 and going to 4. Play Tower. Okay. So the question is, what do we do? She's also elderly, so she's going to bark at everything. Carning a land is an option. That was the first thing that I thought of. Coil is bad if they have Shatter Spree, exactly. If we Karn and take out their land, as long as they don't draw another land, or a Mutagenic Growth, we live for a turn. If they had a Mutagenic Growth, they would have cast it last turn in addition to their other one and killed us. They don't have a Mutagenic Growth currently. Karn into Ratchet Bomb? No. Karn into Ratchet Bomb, I cannot actually put on 1 and kill both their guys. Let's take a look at my sideboard. I don't really have anything to deal with this situation out of the side. I mean, there's Ensnaring Bridge, but my hand is way too full. Well, they could be playing Shatter Spree because they saw Chalice. And this deck frequently plays Shatter Spree in the sideboard. Though, if they do cast Shatter Spree, that's all of their mana, and I would have 2 blockers. Worm Coil it is. If they have white mana on a path, we would die. If they have Double Bolt, we're dead. If they have... Well, there's the land. I'm glad I didn't go with the Karn play. Block. Ancient Grudge. Okay, we go to 2. We draw a sphere. Math. Okay. I have up to 9 mana if I want it. Play stone and hold it up, then attack with lifelink. That's actually pretty reasonable. Tarek, I'm going to go with that. Trinisphere? Ooh, actually. Trinisphere's really good. Hang on. Let me think about Trinisphere here for a second. If I play Karn, I can play Trinisphere. I can play Chromatic Sphere into Trinisphere. Then my opponent has to top deck another land to even flashback Ancient Grudge. If they do and I attacked with the lifelink, then I have 1 blocker. If they Ancient Grudge the blocker, I take 4 damage and go to 1. If they Ancient Grudge the Trinisphere, I have a blocker, I go to 2. Or I go to 3. I'm going with the Trinisphere play. I really like the Trinisphere play here. Because if they don't draw a land, they're just basically dead in the water. If they rip a land, I die? Probably not. There's no single spell they can cast that will actually kill me. Actually, Lightning Bolt would do it, but I don't even know if they're playing Lightning Bolt. The top several lists for this deck do not play Lightning Bolt. They play Lava Dart. It's a combo deck. It is an aggressive deck, but it's a combo deck. It's not necessarily like, it's not like Burn or Prowess. It is technically Prowess, but it's Prowess combo. Do they play Smash to smithereens? No, actually they don't. They favor 1-mana answers because they only play 17 lands. They scoop. Nice. We're 2-2 going into the final round. Oh, man. I slept on a couch when I went to my brother's place. Let me tell you, my back has been hurting since then. Yeah, Unholy Heat actually displaced Bolt slightly, which is absurd. There are still decks that run Lightning Bolt, and there are still Grixis-like Shadow decks that run Lightning Bolt. But the fact that they get away with playing a burn spell that doesn't go to face is amazing. Sigma, you're not here. You're not in a basement, regardless of what other people say. We're going to round 5. Alright, Natural Tron. Nothing to do with it, but Natural Tron. Sigma. You guys are silly. With an ominous box in it, and say, look, Sigma isn't here. Or like a, you know, like the closet door or whatever. Just like have like a scratching sound effect from the inside of it. That'd be really funny. Maybe I'll do something like that when I get moved into the new place. There'll be plenty more opportunities for like memes, because I'll have space to like set up a set if I want to do something. So, opponent mulligan to 5, and they're leading on Spirebluff Canal. They then pass. We draw another Sylvan Scrying, play Power Plant, pass the turn. And they play a Ledger Shredder. We untap. We draw another tower. So, play a tower, play Oblivion Stone, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They cast Expressive Iteration. Sigma. They exile a Bauble, but I still side enforce. It kind of depends on what their build is, I suppose. If they're running Blood Moons, probably. If they're running Magus, probably not. And if they're running both, I think I have to, unfortunately. Let's see. Most recent list plays Blood Moon and Magus, so it's probably coming in. Sometimes they cite in Unlicensed Hearse as a threat. I mean, Unlicensed Hearse is not as big of a problem because we have Little Karn, but it's still a little bit of a problem. Opponent did not attack with Ledger Shredder. We untap, they draw a card. We draw a Karn Great Creator. Play a tower. Play an Ulamog. Take out both Spirebluff Canals. And opponent scoops. Alright, there we go. Nature's Claim, Force Dismember in. Relics stay in. Wormcoil 1 into the side. Kozilek into the side. Oblivion Stone into the Wishboard. I think I'm taking out Warping Whale. I'm going to leave Oblivion Stone in the main deck, and we're going to cut a... No. We're gonna have an Oblivion Stone to the sideboard. Which I like this. Whale answers Ragavan. Well... We'll let this be a results-oriented punt or no punt. Alright, well we got 2/3 of Tron, Star, Stirrings, and Karn, so we're keeping. I am not Sigma's fiancé. That is not what is happening here. Okay, opponent mulligan to 6. They lead on Spirebluff Canal. And Ragavan, much to Albo's dismay. We draw Mine, so we have Natural Tron. Because of that, I'm going to lead on Relic. That's not... You're not a kidnapping victim. I have no reason to steal a Sigma. Alright, opponent plays a Spirebluff Canal. Goes to combat. Attacks us for 2. We cannot block. Okay. Opponent makes a treasure, exiles Karn Liberated, and passes. We untap. We draw Dismember. So, play Power Plant. Play Star. Pass the turn. Opponent casts a Consider. They put Consider into the grave, so we exile a card from their grave. Okay. We allow them to untap. We need to Dismember at beginning of combat if we're going to Dismember. They lead on a Bauble. They cast Expressive Iteration. So I suppose this means Dismember now. Because they can't They can't cast Moon. They could dash a Ragavan, but that would be fine. That would be fine because we can play a Karn. They might have drawn a counterspell. They'd have to shock this Steam Vents. Okay, they do. So they're telling me they've got a counterspell. Flusterstorm can't counter Karn, or anything Karn can wish for. Spell Pierce or Ceremonious Rejection would be a problem. They sack Bauble. Okay. Sigma. Alright, we draw Oblivion Stone. So play a tower. Play a Karn. He's counter-trolling. This is like next-level trolling. That's something that Sigma would never do. Are you kidding me? Sigma would do anything if it served his own ends. Alright, opponent's got a counterspell. That is unfortunate. Let's sack Star for green. Draw a card. Now he's saying that because I said it. We draw Ugin. Ancient Stirrings. We'll take Karn Liberated. Rest to the bottom. And nuke the graves with Relic. This way they can't just immediately Murktide. Oh, sweet. We cast something to use our last mana on, which is Chromatic Star. I mean, from what I've heard, like, your life's not perfect right now. How's the dog situation? I know we were talking about that. How'd that go? Or how is that currently, actually, all trolling aside? Are they all doing well? That's not what I'm talking about. You know it. Okay, so opponent plays Steam Vents, Misty Rainforest after having cast Expressive Iteration. We untap. We draw a tower. So play a tower. Cast Karn. Opponent sacks Misty. Gets an island. Counterspells Karn. We cast Oblivion Stone. Pass the turn. So now we have an onboard answer to Blood Moon effects. Good old Magus of the Moon. We untap. We draw an Urza's Mine. Play an Urza's Mine. Pass the turn. That's good. I am glad to hear that they are doing well. We get bolted. Opponent attacks us for 2. Looks like they're going to take us down to 9. Okay. They're sandbagging, so odds are they have another counterspell, but let's kill the Magus. Draw a card off the star. We draw a Sphere. Untap. We draw another tower. So start by playing Sphere. Crack Sphere for green. We're going to map. Play a tower. Play Ugin. Oh, I should have gotten Sanctum, you're right. Shoot our opponent. Play Expedition map. And pass the turn. Unholy Heat, taking Ugin down to 3. Unholy Heat to kill Ugin. They untap. Forest might be what we grab, especially if they cast another moon here. They play Misty. I'm expecting a Murktide Regent, though. If they have Murktide into Blood Moon, that's really, really sad for us. Blood Moon. Alright, let's go get a Forest. Okay. And Murktide. That is really, really bad for us. We need to draw 7 mana Karn. Ugin works too, but that is neither of those things. Play a Power Plant. Pass the turn. That was like the nightmare scenario. Moon and a Murktide. Playing Forest was better? Yeah, it was. I can draw a Forest and then just die to Murktide because I'm getting attacked, and then I cast Forest and then I get attacked and die? That Forest might have been better, but that's not why. Opponent casts an Expressive Iteration. They exile a Scalding Tarn. They play Scalding Tarn. They smack us for 8. We go to 1. We untap. We draw Chromatic Star. Play Star. Attack Star for green. Yeah, I was supposed to get Sanctum, then cast Ugin, because I could have followed up with an Eldrazi, but I will accept that I punted that one away. Alright, Warping Whale back in. I think I'm going to cut down to 1 force, because 2 claim and a force is probably fine. Oh my gosh, Sigma, you can't... These are like left-handed compliments. These are designed to discredit me. I need to cut a card. If I cut a card here, it's probably... It might be Karn Liberated, actually. Oh, man. Alright, we're playing first. That's a mulligan. It's got a relic and a couple of maps. My opponent kept 7. I'm gonna go to 5. Alright, 2/3 of Tron, a Warping Whale. We can put back Ulamog and Stirrings. Cut 4 mana Karn. 4 mana Karn does a lot. Play mine, pass the turn. They lead on Polluted Delta. They crack Polluted Delta. They shock a Steam Vents. Please be nice, Sigma. There's no need to ban him for just mentioning that he's back. We untap. It's just... It's like creepy seeing him so compliant. Solely to further the meme that he's actually in my basement. Alright, opponent untaps. They draw. They play an island. They cast a Ledger Shredder. Exile Ragavan. Ledger Shredder resolves. They play a Bauble and Connive. They throw a Scalding Tarn into the grave. And they pass. We untap. We draw a Forest. So I think we play Star. Sack Star for green. We get Ugin. Play a Forest. And I know this lets their bird connive, but we're going to Sylvan Scrying and grab Power Plant. Okay, pass the turn. So we gave them 1 extra redraw. If they have... I mean, if they have Blood Moon, we're sad, but we have Nature's Claim. So, like, if they go land Blood Moon or land Magus of the Moon, if we untap and draw, like, Karn, we get Nature's Claim and Karn. But I think more likely they have a counter spell than anything. Okay, another island. Moon. Alright, show me Karn. That's not a Karn. Nature's Claim, Blood Moon. Because we could still draw Little Karn or Wormcoil Engine. Play Power Plant. Play Star. They get to Connive. Sack Star for green, draw a card. Another mine. That's not what we wanted. Alright, pass the turn. Okay, they play Misty. So as long as they don't play a Moon effect, I'd really like to draw Ulamog. Shredder is so dumb. Just because it costs a bunch? Because, like, the card's actually like, reasonably fair as far as Magic cards go. Okay, we untap. We draw Ancient Stirrings. Cast Ancient Stirrings. We can take Ulamog here. Rest of the bottom. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Why am I passing? Because I can't... I don't want to play Urza's Mine and tell them, oh, hey, he has the mana to play Ulamog. I want them to just hold up Counterspell mana. I don't want them to play a Blood Moon. I mean, they might just Windmill Slam Blood Moon if they've got it, but... Okay, we draw a Sphere. Cast Ulamog. We'll take out Shredder and... I mean, I guess an island. They do have trouble if they cast a Blood Moon and have single blue. Okay, they do have a Counterspell. They Unholy Heat their own Shredder just so they can connive. If they have Murktide, that's gonna suck, because Ugin does not match up well with Murktide 99% of the time. Okay, they lead on Bauble. Sack Bauble, targeting themselves. That's kind of interesting. They draw a fetch land? Nope. Alright. So, they draw a card. We draw another Ulamog. That's pretty good. Sometimes Tron top decks Tron things. Okay. Opponent Archmage's Charm counters Ulamog. Double Stone Rain. Taking the double Steam Vents was better? Maybe. Because they could still, like, cast Ragavans and stuff now, but... Opponent plays a Scalding Tarn. We untap. We draw Karn. Go get him, Karn liberated. They fetch and shock a Steam Vent. They do have another counter spell. Play Chromatic Sphere. They might be just about out of fetchable lands. Play Expedition Map, pass the turn. Well, the good news is, if my opponent does play a Blood Moon, we can get Besiege to deal with it. If they play Magus, we can at least get another land to get closer to Ugin. Remember to grab Sanctum? Yes. Sneaky Bird Brain, thank you for subscribing with Prime Gaming. I really appreciate that. Murktide is a little bit unfortunate for us. We untap and draw a tower. Try and do this correctly this time. Sack map. Get Sanctum. Play Sanctum. Play Ugin. Sack Sanctum. I'm glad you enjoy the content. We'll get Wormcoil. And then unfortunately we have to -7 Ugin to deal with this Murktide. Pass the turn. This is a very long Tron League. This is much longer than I had thought it would be. Opponent plays an Odawara. Passes. We draw a Relic. Play Wormcoil. We're playing Wormcoil first because if they counter it, I want it to be in the Wishboard. Technically, it's better. It also means that that's one more card that's in their grave that I can get rid of that they can't delve. So, nuke the graves, draw a card. Another Expedition Map. Play the map. Play the tower. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw a card. They're going to dash a Ragavan. Okay, they go to combat. Attack us for 2. They exile a Sylvan Scrying, which they might cast if they're desperate for mana, but... Okay, let's go ahead and sack map. We're gonna go get a Blast Zone, just to stop them from attacking with Ragavan. How many counter spells did they play? 1, 2... 2 counter spells and 2 Archmage's Charms. We draw a Power Plant, which is not what we want to draw. Play Blast Zone, pass the turn. Opponent draws a card. They play a Bauble. They sack it to see what we're drawing. They dash Ragavan. Kill Ragavan. We untap. They draw a card. We draw Chromatic Sphere. Play Chromatic Sphere. Start cycling. Ancient Stirrings. Opponent has Flusterstorm, which we will pay for. Sure. It's kind of like a Force Spike against us. Or a Mana Tithe. We only had to tap 1 land. Okay. Ancient Stirrings. Take an Ugin. Rest of the bottom. Play a Power Plant. Play Ugin. Good thing you turned off auto yields. Yeah, no kidding. Spell Pierce. I can pay 2 for Spell Pierce. Shoot him. Pass the turn. Opponent is now Hellbent. Opponent casts Expressive Iteration. They put a Flooded Strand into exile. They play Flooded Strand. They crack Flooded Strand. Get an island. Okay, we untap. We draw a Relic. Shoot him again. Play Relic. Exile the Graves. Alright. Play Karn. Let's get Sundering Titan and end this. Walking Ballista is not immediately lethal. Sundering Titan does blow up her own forest, but... pass the turn. Opponent scoops. We go 3 and 2, which is good enough to get a treasure chest and our entry fee back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Anyway, let's open up this treasure chest and see what we get. 5 play points, a Tidal Kraken, and an Earth Tremor. Quest for a chest, we got there. Alrighty. So for you folks who are watching this on YouTube, I'm going to cut the video off here. But if you're here on Twitch, we're going to be doing some double masters, so stick around. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Regardless, you are wonderful human beings, and I appreciate it a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, YouTube folks! Oh, Porter is a good boy. Yes, he is. Dick Record says you're a good boy. He's over here.